Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hakiii, and in this video I'm gonna show you all must-have vehicles in GTA 5 Online. Some of these are good all-arounder vehicles, some of these are good money-making vehicles. We're gonna have it all in today's video, so if it goes on to help you out, be sure to drop a like on it, that'd be awesome. Also, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and drop a sub so you never miss any more awesome videos like these. Join the Hakiii army, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell too while you're at it, and let's get straight into it. Alright, so first up is the Buffalo STX. This is probably the most recently released vehicle on this list. I decided to include it because of how useful it is, and I think it's super important to have. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary nice looking vehicle, but it's actually much more than that. If you didn't know, the STX has special upgrades which only a few vehicles have in the game, and those upgrades are the Imani tech upgrades. They're extremely useful, and I wish more vehicles would have them in the game. Inside of the Imani tech upgrades, there's two different options. The first option is the little bit of a less good option, but it's still a pretty cool one, and that's the remote control unit. So you can basically turn your car into an RC car, and you're going to be driving it remotely. It's basically an RC Bandito just with a full big size car. You can continuously knock over people on foot, and you can detonate it whenever you want. But the ultimate main option that made this a must-have is the missile lock-on jammer option, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's in the name. It basically makes it where no one can lock onto you whatsoever with homing missiles. So oppressors can't lock onto you, homing missile launchers can't lock onto you. Literally, you are safe from any type of homing missiles, doesn't matter what vehicle or what weapon it is, and that is a huge plus. You're basically safe from any type of griefers that are using missiles, because if you pass by someone that's using an AR and they can lock onto you with that, I mean, that's a different story. But a lot of people use homing missiles, and this option protects you a ton from that. And with that missile lock-on jammer, what's gonna make this the ultimate combination is another upgrade on the STX, and that's the armor plating option. If you have both the missile lock-on jammer upgrade and the armor plating upgrade, you are gonna be completely safe from rockets, because the armor plating upgrade makes it where it takes like 6 or 7 rockets to blow up your vehicle, and no oppressor is gonna be able to hit you like 7 times without being able to lock onto you. That's just extremely difficult. So you are basically immune to rockets, and it is gonna cost you a good couple $100,000, but I think it is worth it if you're basically safe from griefers. And then you could just drive around the map without having to worry about anyone coming to blow you up. So if you have the Buffalo STX, you are good to go. If you don't, I definitely would recommend saving up for it, and for the upgrades you need to make it sick. Next up is going to be the Mobile Operations Center, more commonly known as the MOC. It's such a good vehicle for so many reasons, and let's start off with the customization you can do to it. So the back of the MOC has 3 different bays you can customize, which are basically the 3 different sections of it. There's so many convenient options. You can have a personal vehicle storage in there, so you can drive in any vehicle and just store it in there, or you can have a vehicle workshop, which then you can customize whichever vehicle. In Bay 2, you can have a weaponry, which you can basically upgrade weapons to Mark IIs, and you can buy special ammo for it and make it look all sick. You can have a living quarters, which then you can sleep there and you can spawn there. You also have a closet, so if you want to change clothes, you can do that too. And all this is inside of the truck, which you can actually drive around the map, which is just crazy to think about. And along with all these awesome customization options, this vehicle is extremely armored. It takes like a good 30 to 40 rockets to blow it up, something like that. Just a ridiculous amount of rockets. So someone would have to chase you down and just keep on spamming rockets on you, and they might not even have enough rockets to blow you up. It's legit that hard to blow it up, so you're pretty freaking safe inside this thing. The next one is the Kula Helicopter, which is probably the best helicopter in the game. It can seat up to 4 people, and all 4 people can use weapons at the same time in this thing. In terms of protection and armor, it's as good as it gets with a helicopter. It takes 3 homing missiles to blow it up, and the thing that makes it really good is the stealth mode you can do with it, which then no one can lock onto you while you're in stealth mode. You can't shoot out anything either, but I mean, you're in stealth mode, so you're not able to shoot, but at the same time, no one's able to lock onto you either. You have unlimited rockets with it. You can also do a bombing run. You can drop bombs if you wanted to, and you can customize it in the hangar as well, so it is a customizable helicopter. The only downside I found using it is the handling is a bit weird. The handling of it is just really sensitive, so if you try to turn just a little bit, it's gonna tilt a lot, so it takes some getting used to. Now next up is the Kosaka Submarine. I think this is a must if you're looking to make a lot of money, because the Kosaka is how you start the Cayo Perico heist, which if you don't know is like the best paying heist in the entire game. So the Kosaka is a must for that, but it also has a lot of really useful features. It's got 2 remote missile launchers, so that means you can get a friend in and you can use them at the same time. It's really self-explanatory. You just sit down and then you remotely control a missile, and you can send it pretty far across across the map. It does cut out after a bit, but you can go decently far with it, I'd say. Some more cool features with it, it's got these sleeping quarters so you can spawn there and you can rest like in the MOC, and also like in the MOC it's also got the special weapon workshop. There's a few more cool little features if you want to go and explore it for yourself, but one of those features is the Sparrow helicopter. Now the Sparrow helicopter, I'm gonna classify it separately since you have to actually buy it separately. Actually, before we get into that, the Kosaka does cost a few $1,000,000, but you guys will make that back in no time doing the Cayo Perico heist, and you could do the heist again and again, so definitely worth buying the Kosaka. So the Sparrow is inside of the Kosaka. There's like a special room for it, and it's just sitting inside of there, so then you just get in it and then you fly away. The reason I like the Sparrow so much is because of how fast and convenient it is. Legit, it just zooms across the map. It is extremely fast, and it's really convenient as well because doesn't matter where you are on the map, you can just open the interaction menu and call it in through there, and it spawns right next to you in no time. For those of you who don't know specifically where it is, you go into services, Kosaka, and then you have a request Sparrow option. Along with that, it's also got rockets, so you can infinitely shoot rockets. It's got unlimited rockets and you can constantly shoot it over and over and over again, so it's not like the Buzzard where you have to shoot 2 and then you have to wait a little bit after. The Sparrow overall is a bit better than the Buzzard for sure. I definitely recommend buying the Sparrow on top of the Kosaka. It's gonna cost you $1.8 million, which is not that bad of a price. It is a little pricey, I guess, for some people, but I do think it's well worth it. It's super convenient. Once again, even more convenient than the Kula, but it's definitely not as armored as the Kula, so they're good in different ways basically. The Sparrow is more convenient, the Kula is overall more protected and armored, and it's got more weapons, but both of them are awesome helicopters to get. Now moving on to the almighty Oppressor Mark II. I know this is a controversial one, but at the end of the day, it's such a good vehicle for whatever you want to use it for. Hopefully it's to grind the game and just move across the map and not grief, but if you happen to grief with it, I guess, oh well. Hopefully other people are driving the Buffalo STX in that case. I've been seeing more people use it for good lately, so doing different missions and just going across the map quickly, which is really good to see, but there also might be some people still griefing with it. Either way, it's such a good vehicle. It's super easy to use. The handling's great. It's got countermeasures. It's got the missiles, obviously. I still think it's the best overall vehicle to have, even though you can counter it now with the STX, like the Amani tech and everything. And vehicles like the Torador, that's a pretty good one to counter. And it's a smaller vehicle too, which is a really good thing, which means you can land it easily. You can also land it in tight spots. And the next one's going to be really important for the Oppressor Mark II. So the next one is the Terabyte. The Terabyte is a must if you have the Oppressor Mark II or you want to get it, because if you don't know, the Terabyte's the only way to upgrade the Oppressor Mark II, and the Oppressor Mark II is just a lot less good without upgrading it. Without upgrading it, you only have a little minigun, and you don't have any countermeasures if someone's locking onto you with a missile. So the Terabyte's mainly a must-have because the Oppressor Mark II is a must-have, but it's not only good because you can upgrade the Oppressor Mark II in it, it's also good for making money. Inside of the Terabyte, you have the touchpad, which inside of it you can start up missions like client jobs, which are really good. I've done them a lot in my money method videos, and along with making money and upgrading the Oppressor Mark II, it's also pretty armored. Just like the MOC, it takes a lot of rockets to blow it up. I mean a ton. Next up is gonna be the Torador. It is pretty pricey at $3.6 million, but if you do have the money for it, it is a really useful vehicle. It's got a boost on it, which is extremely fast, and it recharges extremely fast as well. Maybe the fastest in the game. It definitely recharges faster than the Vigilantes, and also the Rocket Voltic, and definitely the Scramjet as well, along with the fastest recharging boost in the game, which is really fun to use. I mean, it can't fly unfortunately, but if you go up a ramp or you go up a mountain, it is gonna completely go zooming across the map. So I guess you can say it can technically fly, but you do need to find some sort of ramp, and so you can probably guess it goes really fast with that boost. Besides that though, you can turn it into a mini submarine. It's got like a submarine mode. If you drive into the ocean or any lake, you can hold right on the D-pad and then it switches modes, and it acts like an underwater submarine that way. In terms of weapons and protection, it's got homing missiles on it, which is a huge plus. As I mentioned before, it's a good vehicle to counter the Oppressor Mark II with, and it's not only because you can fire missiles with it, you can also take up to 6 rockets without blowing up in this vehicle, and that does give you a big advantage against the Oppressor Mark II. You just have to hope one of the missiles hits the Oppressor Mark II before you get hit with 6 rockets. It's a really good matchup if you ask me, the Torador versus the Oppressor Mark II. The only real downside is the price of it, but besides the price, it's a very useful and fun vehicle to use. Now if you're into luxury vehicles in the game, make sure you click the video on screen for the best luxury vehicles to own in GTA 5 Online. There's some awesome vehicles that just make you feel rich using them, and some of them don't even cost that much. much, so you don't have to be extremely rich. It's an awesome video. Make sure you go check it out and enjoy.